now. Some of our speakers have been getting the job done right now in Olympia. Our first guest is a Republican state rep from the 12th District, which is, if you look at a map, the heart of Washington State. He is the ranking Republican in the House Government Accountability and Oversight Committee and the second ranking Republican in the Labor and Workforce Development Committee. He's a true champion of liberty, and I'm very proud to call him my friend, Representative Cary Condotta.
Thank you. I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be right now after this week in Olympia. Times they are changing, folks. They really are. And we saw evidence of that throughout the last week, and I'm here to give you some very, very good news. And actually, I want to say Matt Shea really wanted to be here tonight, but we are all tired. We've had a week and a half of long nights and long afternoons working very hard to defend the liberties that are so important to so many of us. And we have had great success. And of course, along the way, we had some great motivation. When we were getting a little tired and things were getting a little tough, there's this crazy guy back east that stood up for all those hours and said all the things that we've been saying. And I say that affectionately because that is a future leader, and he changed the world that day for all of us and for the whole program and for the whole Republican Party and for all of us in Olympia. It was a great boost. And I'm going to tell you something. It's interesting how the Liberty Caucus has grown. There was just a few of us. It was just me a few years ago. I mean, you know, I wear my Ron Paul shirt, and people look at me like I came from another planet. And now it's a whole different story. We have probably 8 to 10 people in a caucus of 43 that are very dedicated to these principles. I have one of them here tonight with me, a very outstanding freshman who is one of our up-and-coming superstars. But it is moving quickly, and I can tell you it is really amazing when leadership starts to figure it out. Now, I've been in leadership for 5 years, but I've kind of been the odd guy out. But now Matt Shea's in leadership with me, and let me tell you, our leadership team is coming around very quickly to what we are talking about and what we are doing. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud of Richard DeBolt, our leader, who today went to Frank Chop and said, not today, yesterday, I'm sorry, and demanded that the drone bill be run on the floor in the House of Representatives. This is a breakthrough for us. That never would have happened last year or the year before. And we have become much more recognized, and our leadership team is very actually getting more excited about what we're doing. There is a really, truly a change going on in the party, and it's all for the best. So the other, of course, the great win, the big win, was defeating House Bill 1588. Wow. I've been there 11 years, and I've seen a lot of things, but that was one of the most amazing chess games I've ever seen played, and I want to tell you who was at the head of that chess game. It was Richard DeBolt and Matt Shea, what could be called an establishment Republican and one of ours, working side by side in tandem. And those two, between Matt's basically his amendments and Richard's kind of clever tactics, they outmaneuvered the strongest politician in this state, which is Frank Chop. They beat him, clearly. And that is huge. I've seen that twice in 11 years. So it is dead, it is gone, and I don't think they'll be coming back to that little subject matter for a while, because it was a big embarrassment. Of course, the turning point for it all is when Jay Inslee came down and started to lobby for it. It started to lose ground very quickly. And so they immediately sent him back to the mansion and said, go play basketball, do something else. They even had Joe Biden making phone calls into the Democrat caucus, which also I think probably created a loss in votes. But so that happened. The drone bill got closer than you can ever imagine. Of course, what stopped the drone bill was not our leadership. Actually, Frank Chop wanted to run the drone bill. He believed in it. We had bipartisan support, 12-1 coming out of the committee. We thought we had barely enough votes to get out of committee. And what was funny is by the time the police had come and testified to what they could do with these drones, we had 12 votes. We went from 6 to 12. They scared the living hell out of all of us about, well, oh, we can fly in these rooms, you can see things, you can see a serial number from 1,000 feet. Really? We don't want those things flying around our house. So, yeah, and we're going to make sure they aren't. But our good friends at the Boeing Company had a little different look at things, since that's a big part of their business, and we'll be working them over in the next few months and making sure that they back off a little. But they did come in with a full court press and made it more difficult. But I'll tell you, we were that close. So things are changing, things are looking up, they're looking better. The strength of our movement is growing across the nation and throughout the state and within our own caucus. We love it. It's been a long time coming. I started my radio show 12 years ago with an opening quote from Mr. Ron Paul. He was the most quoted person on my radio show for all 11 years that it ran. And, you know, I've gone from being the outsider to very much the insider, and it feels really good to finally see this movement come into where it is. I mean, into full growth, and it's just, the power is coming. So we're excited. I'm going to let Chad take a few minutes to tell you about some other things. I appreciate all your friendship. A lot of you are my Facebook friends, and we try to keep you up to date as much as we can. I appreciate all the support. This isn't an easy job, but you know what? It's really rewarding right now to see after 11 years that we're finally getting headed in the right direction. And folks, I don't want you to lose any faith at all. I know things look bad out there. We can turn this country around. Americans are still wonderful, wonderful folks. And this gun thing was a big test. Somebody said, well, in my district, they said, well, can't you outlaw those silly assault weapons and those 30-round clips? And I said, well, in my district, it'd be easier to outlaw pickup trucks. Because there's a lot more assault weapons than there are pickup trucks. And so we are alive and well and moving forward, and I hope you join. I hope you get involved in this, get your friends involved, and it's going to be a great thing. And by the way, you've got a fantastic leader with Matt Dubin, one of the truly great politicians in his own right, and I think he's going a long ways. So we're looking forward to seeing you further up the line, Matt, but for right now, thanks for what you're doing. And I'll let you introduce my good friend. Thank you very much, everybody.